Hello and good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode 207. It's a Tuesday. I woke up this morning not realizing which day it was, which tends to happen, especially middle of the week. Tuesday confused with Wednesday, Wednesday confused with Thursday. I'm well aware of Friday though. Always know Friday, and unfortunately always know Monday, but it's Tuesday through Thursday. Those are the days that I get mixed up. I had a weird dream last night. I woke up at 3 a.m. wide awake from a dream. It was one of those back to school dreams. Have you ever had one of those back to school dreams where you're either like naked in class or you forgot your homework, like you're back in school, even though you've been out for 30 years, 20 years, and all of a sudden you forgot that you forgot to go to class. I get that a lot. Like, oh crap, we're 6 weeks into the semester and I haven't gone to class yet. I'm gonna fail. So last night's dream, early this morning's dream, was I was a couple credits short of graduating, and so I had to go back to school. And one of my like high school buddies was in the same situation, and we were going back to school. One of those weird dreams. And I think the reason why that I had this back to school dream was because what I'm going to be talking about today, eBay File Exchange. Ricardo, good morning. What's happening? So that's what I wanted to touch on today was eBay File Exchange. I want to go into my listing strategies as a seller, my current listing strategies, what I'm doing, and then I'm going to take a look at my eBay promoted stats, eBay promoted listing stats, and some things really stuck out, shone bright when I took a look at some of the statistics around my promoted listings, which I just started less than 3 weeks ago, February 5th, and the chart, the graph is just absolutely amazing because you see this, and then all of a sudden, when I listed all of my listings promoted, boom, and it's way up here, and it's a trickle down effect. So I'll get into that in just a moment. So what's up, Brad? Good morning. So first thing I wanted to touch on was eBay File Exchange. So back in the day, eBay had what was called a turbo lister, and it was basically a separate piece of software you downloaded. It was a program that you could run and bulk list your eBay items. And I actually had a turbo lister during my first eBay store back in like 2005. They stopped the turbo lister, and I think if you had already downloaded it and were actively using turbo lister, you're still grandfathered in. I think I've seen some people still using it, but you no longer can like download it. It's not available for new sellers. The only bulk lister that I've seen like seems to be widely used is what is called File Exchange, and it's through eBay. You basically just sign up for it, say I want File Exchange. It's pretty easy for the setup process. Then you basically download your template. What's up, Herman? Good morning. You download your template, and it's just a spreadsheet. And then you input all of the data, which is where I'm having the headache. And this is why I had the dream, because I took a lot of Excel classes in college, and it like gave me nightmares of going back and trying to figure out pivot tables and formulas. So I thought like, and I tried this before, like maybe a year, 2 years ago. I tried the File Exchange and I gave up rather quickly. I'm a pretty impatient person, so I didn't want to spend too much time on the whole setup of the spreadsheet and the File Exchange. So I gave up rather quickly. This time I wanted to give it a little more time because I'm pretty serious. My eBay store is 10 times what it was the first time around when I tried this, so I'm going to give it a shot. So I started inputting the data. Here's problem number one I hate about the File Exchange is I'm inputting the data. It says, so there's an asterisk next to the required categories, fields that need to be filled out. So I filled those out. It's a little time consuming because you have to find like the categories, and it's like a number, and obviously with it being a spreadsheet and transferable, you have to have like the exact characters right and all that. So you have to do a little research into the category number. There's a number associated with condition. So like condition for baseball cards, for example, like very good is what I typically list all my cards, and that code is 4000. So you have to look up some of the codes. Here's the problem. The problem is when you don't submit the correct field data, it kicks back, but it only kicks back one error at a time. So I literally have 7 or 8 files that I had to. So you fill out all your data, you upload the files to eBay, and then you have to download the report, and the report spits out any errors. So the first error was I didn't have X field filled out. So I went in, filled out X field. You think you're good. You upload it, download the file report. Guess what? There's a new error. There's another error. So it doesn't list all of the errors in one report. You have to like keep uploading. So if there's 20 errors and you don't know what the errors are, you're going to have to upload and download 20 different times to find out what all of your errors are. So that was my, so I'm at like 8, 7, 8. What's up, Zach? Good morning. So one of the errors has to do with shipping, and I've read there's like an instruction manual that comes with this template. I've read through it. It's very gray. It's actually a wild goose chase because it says click here to find out which. So you click here, you read it. Oh, click here to find out. And so I'm clicking on each of these, and I'm still not getting a clear-cut answer on what the field needs to be. Last night I thought I had it, uploaded, downloaded, still an error. So there's a couple guys. I reached out on Twitter. A couple guys followed up, and they're going to look into it today. I'm going to probably give it one more run around. I'm not going to spend too much more time on it. But it's time consuming, and this is kind of everybody's consensus that what I read in different articles online about file exchange. It's very time consuming. It can be very time consuming to set up, but once you get it running and you get everything, it's just basically, you fill out the title, description, copy and paste. The one issue, and this is the time, the constant issue with fast listing on eBay is pictures. So I feel that if I can get the file exchange going, and I'll take a stack of say 500 cards that I know they're all priced out. I don't have comps and pictures. Comps is another one. So I know I'm going to list all 500 of these cards. They're all baseball. They're all 99 cents. I can do it really quickly because I just need to input description, title, and basically I'm copy and pasting the title into the description, putting all of the info in the title that goes into the description, and boom, copy paste 500 times. The issue, again, pictures. So I take the 500 pictures. You need to you have to have a photo hosting site. So you have to have like an internet, you have to have like a IRL URL or whatever that is, the website address for the picture, which is pretty easy with like you can use PhotoBucket. I chose Google Photos, did a little bit of playing around with that, but it's still time consuming because you have to take the picture, which is quick, but you have to take the picture, then it goes into your Google Photos, then you have to copy and paste the image URL into your spreadsheet. So it can still take a little bit of time, but I think a lot of that time, and I have it down to about 30 to 45 seconds if I have a stack of all 99 cents. I really need to figure out, and I don't know if you can, just like a basic template that I can use on the app. I know you can use it on the laptop, but I can do things much quicker on the phone because I'm laying on the couch. I just take the picture of the card right on the couch. They're 99 cent cards, so I don't need to have perfect pictures. Don't need the shadow box for those. So that's always the issue with fast listings. The pictures just kind of get in the way. So that's my talk on File Exchange. We'll see the couple guys that are working on it, see what they come up with, and then I'll look into it a little bit more. But then if nothing comes through, just going to keep doing my thing with using the phone, using the app, and listing 30 to 45 seconds per listing. So that's File Exchange. I wanted to talk about my current eBay listing strategies. Right now I'm feeling it's just a weird time in the hobby. We all know that. It's just crazy. Top Shot is consuming my timeline. I've never, outside of politics, within the hobby, I haven't really thought about muting words. And I think it's kind of funny when people like mute things. But I just have kind of a carefree attitude when it comes to that. But I'm starting to get annoyed by all the Top Shot talk. It's like consuming my timeline, and it's probably the first hobby related topic that I've considered muting. Truth be told, disclaimer, full honesty, transparency here. I did open a Top Shot account a few weeks ago, but I don't understand it. The pack drops happen whenever, and I just don't want to spend time refreshing and trying to do that. So yes, full transparency, I do have a Top Shot account. I've never bought or sold anything through Top Shot. It was just kind of one night my wife was watching Gossip Girl or something on Netflix, and it was a time waster, and I downloaded the Top Shot or created an account or whatever, but haven't used it. But so the hobby's crazy with Top Shot. Now there's a run on, it's like everybody's chasing the next thing, and we've gone from, and I think a lot of the hobby's attention is the hobby is very ADHD right now. Everybody's looking for the next big thing. We're focusing on Top Shot. Rookie cards of Marvel cards are going crazy. So now we're trying to find the next Marvel hit. Non-sports cards. I saw in a vintage packs group, people opened up those laughs, the comedians and sitcom cards, and they're gonna submit like the Aunt Becky and Bob Saget, Danny Tanner rookie cards to PSA because they think that, with Aunt Becky's criminal history, her cards are gonna pop. Like, it's just the Michael Jordan Upper Deck like a year ago is a $5 card. It's now selling for like 40 and 50, and it seems to be going up every day. So there's a really ADHD feel to the hobby right now. So how am I handling that with my eBay listings? Good morning, Mark. What's up? So with my listing strategies, with where everything is in the hobby, it seems like we're in the dog days of winter as far as basketball sales. And I've seen this and I've read this a lot lately where I guess ultra modern is kind of like current, is kind of the name attached to current, like 2019, 2020 basketball cards. Zions and Jaws have dipped. So I have some of those that I'm stashing away. Whatever basketball cards I have listed, I'm keeping it. I've got my box of just random basketball stuff that I'm just waiting if anybody pops. Basically holding off new basketball listings until the playoffs for current cards. when it comes to, there's a run. So what's taking away the money from current basketball is, there's a run on, mid 90s Kevin Garnett rookies, Allen Iverson rookies. So if I come across those, I will list those. I'm gearing up for baseball, but I'm waiting on 2021. I'm listing basically everything because there's just going to be an absolute glut of 2021 tops. They made so much of it. There's no reason to hold. So I am listing everything 2021 because the longer we go, the more product is going to be out there. The only thing I'm holding with 2021 tops baseball is like the third tier in lower. I don't know how many tiers you want to go, but the lower tier rookie cards, and I'm talking about cards that are basically 99 cents. So some maybe Ryan Mountcastle, Keibert Ruiz, and then guys that are not quite as up there, pitchers basically. So basically the only rookies I'm selling are the ones that are hot. Joe Adell, Casey Mize, Alec Baum, Dylan Carlson. So there's probably about 8 of them, 6 to 8 that I'm selling now. Everything else rookie wise, I'm holding. So for other baseball and in a lot of other stuff, I'm still holding like the Bowman draft and all the Bowman that I bought from 2020. I'm holding that until we get baseball underway. What I'm loading up on is, the 99 cent stuff, the 80s stuff. I listed a bunch of like Jim Palmer and Ozzie Smith from the early 80s the other night. I'm listing some of that stuff. So I'm focusing on baseball, but I'm focusing on not really vintage, modern vintage, I guess you could say, because it's not vintage, but it's not junk wax era. It's that kind of that middle range, mid 70s to mid 80s, that range, that range, post vintage, pre junk wax era. So that's what I'm focusing on as far as listing strategies go. What's up? Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Zach. Waiting to see the crash once people are allowed back to somewhat normal life. It is coming, Ryan. Nothing is surprising me anymore. This is an abs. I never would have thought. I knew there was going to be once we started the run, I knew it was going to continue until restrictions were lifted, until we get back to a somewhat normal life. But I didn't expect it to be like this absolutely crazy. So there's going to be a crash at some point. So that's why I'm in sell mode. I've pretty much held off on as far as my own collection, like Cubs stuff. I was early on, like 6 months ago, up to about 6 months ago, I was buying pre-war Cubs, but everything has been lifted. Prices are lifted. So as a buyer, I'm gonna sit it out and if prices continue to rise. I mean, that's the thing with vintage and pre-war. It doesn't crash. That stuff doesn't crash. So it'll be interesting to watch those markets, to see what they do. Will they settle, or will they just, continue, an uptick? It'll be interesting to watch that. Brad, interesting. A crash will not happen. Nothing like a car wreck. I kind of agree with that. I don't know if we're going to see a 1994 like crash. We're definitely going to see a correction. And that's, I mean, I don't even feel comfortable predicting this stuff anymore, because every time I think I've seen it all, I haven't. And I thought I was a seller of Bitcoin at 25K, and I actually held and then it hit 35K, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to cash out my profits and just hold on to my initial investment. And then I decided, oh, once it hits 40K, I'll sell. And then it surpasses 40K. And I'm like, well, I'm definitely selling at 50K. And then it surpasses 50K. And it reached, I think, 59K. I'm still holding in. I woke up this morning and there's a sharp decline in Bitcoin. It went from like a high of 58 to 59K. And as of like 6 a.m., it was at like 48, 47, 49. I'm in the upper 40s. So, I just don't know where that's, sometimes you can predict these markets, and right now we can't. It's just absolutely insane. Mark says vintage and pre-war always a steady climb, has jumped recently more than usual. You won't lose money. Yeah, and that's the thing, Mark. It's like, when do I jump in? It's like I just don't want to. I want to focus on sales right now, and that's the thing. It's going to continue to rise, and there's not going to be a kickback on that stuff. So it's like I may as well get in now, because it's likely not to drop. If it does drop, it's not going to drop much. Yeah, the true collectors after the crash and correction. It's just, we are in such a weird time. But it's fun. I'm having a blast. I am enjoying the ride. It's definitely, I don't even want to call it a roller coaster, because there's not many. It's just like this continuous uphill climb. It's like the yodeler from Price is Right. Will the yodeler drop all the way down to the floor, or will he hang on? Yeah, make it while you can. Yeah, I'm focused on sales, and speaking of that, so I want to continue my eBay talk and my strategy. So I did the promoted listing starting on February 5th. So that was it looks like midday, because it was about half of where the rest of the month went. So my averages on impressions was in the 35 to 40,000 per day mark. And that was before my promoted listings. Once I hit promoted listings, now I'm up around 400,000 impressions per day. My last 30 days is at 6.1 million impressions. And that's a 950% uptick. 983 items sold in 31 days. That's up over 200%. My last 7 days has actually been down on impressions, but up on sales. So my impressions over the last 7 days down 12%. My sales volume is up 25%, but my sales monetarily is only up like 2%. So what's interesting, so I do want to share the interesting part. So a lot of the when people are like hesitant to use promoted listings, they don't want to pay that extra fee, because it's about an additional 4 to 6%. If you're low dollar sales and not selling in volume, does it really pay to promote your listings? With the volume that I have, and if you're continually, as Brad says, feeding the beast, I definitely, I think I would say do promoted listings on everything, no matter what. But it's also bringing up my organic impressions. So my organic impressions before promoted listings, in the 2 weeks before I promoted everything, my organic impressions were like, seems like right at 12,000. My organic impressions now, and this is like with the same amount of, because is typically when I sell, I basically keep feeding the beast. And so when I sell 50 cards, I try to add 50 back. So it's basically with the same amount of listings in my store. So there's not a sharp uptick in my store listings. So my organic impressions went from about 12,000 per day, and this is organic, to 50,000 per day. So that promoted listings, there's a trickle down effect from the promoted listings to your organic. So, that could be somebody saw my store, they clicked on a promoted ad and then they saved it for later, or they liked my store and they checked back. So that's what, that's another reason why I would suggest those promoted listings. Herman, half a case of Heritage. I am still on the fence on Heritage. Again, I know the prices are going to rise. I haven't looked at pre-sale prices in a couple weeks. I should have got in a couple months ago. I know prices were, when I first looked at pre-sale on Heritage, I was shocked. I think the initial pre-order was at like $1,100 for a case. I really love the 72 Tops design. I love Heritage as a product. But right now it's just, I've got so much stuff to list, including like a lot of, stuff that I bought at the end of 2020, that it's like, I don't need to be buying any more product. Yeah, Ryan, it does stink. It's kind of like one of those scenarios where, for me, in the hobby, I adapt. And I know everyone's different and everybody hobbies differently. But I've always been a seller. I've always been a seller to sustain my own hobby, to where I can buy a collection for $1,000, piece it out, sell it for $2,000. And with that $1,000, I can buy Cubs cards and then reinvest the initial investment and just kind of build that way. So I've always been a seller. But now I'm not reinvesting my sales profits back into Cubs cards right now. I'm basically just setting it aside, and I'm reinvesting it if I go to the card shop, and basically reinvesting into my own eBay store. And I do buy Cubs cards here and there. I'm saving it for card shows where I can dig through a dollar box again. So eventually I will, be back to buying more Cubs cards, doing more trades. But it's just sales focused right now. Herman, we're speaking over your head. Yeah, David, there is a potential for a lockout next year. So that's another thing where it's like, is there a parallel to what we saw in the early 90s? And we can't compare. It's easy to compare what we've already been through. And, guys our age, we've went through that junk wax era, the massive spike in the early 90s. Like, the peak was probably 91. And then the crash in, I think the downward spiral started in 92. And then by 94, we had the lockout. We had the strike in 94 that absolutely killed the baseball card market. We can't compare that because it's so much different now. The junk wax era was basically a byproduct of just mass producing the few sets they had. Now we're just mass producing everything. And fortunately, we're not, Tops didn't run the printers like they did 89 Upper Deck Griffeys or 87 Tops or 89 Tops. But we've got so much to choose from. So it's like, what are people going to be attracted to? And I think we started seeing that run on Tops base rookies probably 2-3 years ago, where I think that's the lane. Those are going to be the sought after, rookie cards, when the dust clears on whatever this is we're going through. But the biggest difference between now and then, we can't like laterally compare 2021 as the equivalent to 1991. We can't do that because we've got the internet. It's completely different in the fact that in 91, they had Tops Fleer Donruss Upper Deck Score, and they were just printing it to the moon. And the only way to get it was, well, you could find it everywhere because it was sold at your barber shops and your gas stations and your local grocery stores. But now we have the internet and you can literally find it anywhere. Well, some stuff. I mean, it's, you have the world at your fingertips. We're in the internet era. And the one thing that I was always, I thought initially this run in the hobby would not last was because we are in the internet era and we have super short attention spans. We have such short attention spans that if a guy gets hot and scores 40 points in an NBA game last night, his prices spike within hours. And then by the time the next game tips off 21 hours later, he's old news. We're in that like constant news cycle where we don't have a short attention span. We want a card now. Johnny Johnson goes off for 50 points for the Denver Nuggets last night. We want his card. We can go on the internet. We can buy Johnny Johnson's cards and have them in a few days. Heck, by the time they're in our mailbox, we don't want them anymore. And the next day, the Nuggets tip off and Johnny Johnson plays 20 minutes and scores 6 points. And who's Johnny Johnson? Now I don't want this card. I'm going to return it because it's eBay. And they offer returns on everything. So we're just in such a weird spot that it's like, it's not comparable to what we went through. There definitely are parallels. We're seeing, because what happened in, when baseball cards got super hot, and that started probably in Mark would probably be the best to offer his opinion on it. I'm thinking like the early to mid 80s was when we started seeing that climb, because what did we see in this new market with the rise in basketball and baseball cards, and all of a sudden, the Jordan prices are selling for millions for a PSA 10 rookie, the Mike Trouts. So we're getting that mainstream coverage on cards. Okay. And there's a trickle down, and now the floor is rising. And what else is happening? We're now producing cards for Formula One racing. We're producing cards for whatever else. We're producing cards for like everything, and there's a new market. What happened in the early 80s? The Don Mattingly rookie card, I think, probably started the baseball card craze that became known as the junk wax era. So what was that? 84. So what happened in 84, 85? We started seeing a glut of non-sports cards. There was a sports card for everything because everybody wants cards. This Don Mattingly rookie card and got super hot. It's trickling down. Now Ron Kittle rookie cards are super hot, and and on. And then we go into, we're producing cards for the Goonies and the Gremlins and WWF and all of this. And guess where we're at right now? We're producing cards for Anthony Fauci, and we're producing cards for Bernie Sanders, and everybody gets a card because everybody wants cards, and it's crazy. And so that's another parallel to the initial card craze of the mid 80s and in what we're seeing now. Yeah, Ryan. Yeah. And Brad mentioned it. The card ladder. I've checked it out a few times. It's kind of cool. I should probably look into it more with some of the stuff that I'm just kind of sitting on and holding, because a lot of the stuff I just don't know the market, and I'll like just randomly do a search. So it would probably be more beneficial to actively track some of those. Saw someone post, they've been produced for Tatis or some new star compared to Dale Murphy. Yeah. Zach, I've gone into like trading card database to see like, some of the volumes on, like Chris Bryant, I think has more cards than Ryan Sandberg. And it's just absolutely insane. Herman, yeah. 90s with the Looney Tunes. Yeah. And it started in like 85. And then when we reached like the peak in 91, probably, Then we saw like Coca-Cola. I've got like 2 boxes of those stupid Coca-Cola cards. I want to throw them away, but I hoard and I can't throw anything away. Yeah, Sports Card Investor. I've listened to a couple of his. I'm not really a fan of his, but I'll tune in every once. He had the eBay person. He had the eBay executive on, so I did listen to that one. The Looney Tunes Upper Deck. Yeah, I have a bunch of those. The Looney Tunes. There was like Nolan Ryan, Ken Griffey Jr. A bunch of those. I have some random boxes of non-sports cards. I actually bought when I was on a work trip. I was looking at Craigslist. There was a guy selling like 100,000 non-sports cards, and basically he's a sports card buyer, and he would buy collections of sports cards, and then he would just sell for cheap the non-sports cards. So I bought it was like 75,000, and there was a ton of really good stuff. And he's like, I don't care. He's like, I know nothing about non-sports cards, and I don't care. I don't want to know. So anything that's non-sports cards goes in these boxes, and I sell them for like $50 for 75,000 cards. He gave me his business card. I probably don't have it, but I should probably look him up because he might have some good stuff. Sports Card Investor has some sound theories, but he gets tired quick. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to touch on today. Just wanted to go into the eBay file exchange and my frustrations behind spreadsheets and the file exchange. If I don't figure it out today, I am going to just give up and continue my phone app listings, my listing strategies, and the promoted listings. So thanks for the chat. Good stuff today. Drop any comments if you have anything to share. Elf, yes. I think I still have. There was an Elf set in that collection I bought, and I'm like, man, I should keep this. There was also like Back to the Future. So those were some cards that I should have kept. Yeah, Brad, I've got to go upstairs, get the coffee going, and turn you on. So Brad's coming up next. He's going live on his channel, Texas Card Dude. Thanks for chatting. Thanks for stopping by. 1millioncubs.com. I've got a couple blog posts up about Project 70. I did a review on the first day, the first 3 cards. I thought about doing that daily, but I just don't have the time to do that. But I will be keeping track of Project 70. I really like it. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about Project 70 tomorrow, and my thoughts on the project. So check those articles out, 1millioncubs.com. Thanks for tuning in. Check out Brad on his channel, Next Texas Card Dude, and we'll talk tomorrow.